the all-in-one divergence indicator, which is offered for various platforms on the TradingFinder website. From this section, you can download the indicator file for MetaTrader 4 and MetaTrader 5 platforms and run it on the chart. Additionally, traders can read this page to understand how the indicator works and functions. From the Navigator section, we select the indicator file and execute the indicator by dragging the file onto the chart. Once the indicator is running on the chart, it begins to identify positive and negative divergences on the price SU chart. The all-in-one divergence indicator is a special and practical tool that displays divergences within the chart using 8 popular indicators. Traders can easily identify divergences using this tool and conduct more specialized analyses on the chart. In the Settings section, under the Input part, there are options available for us, where we can select the type of indicator in the first section. Among the 8 indicators available in this section are AO, RSI, CCI, MACD, Stochastic, OBV, CMF, and finally, TSI is also included here. In the next section, we can determine the number of candles for pivot analysis. In the following section, we can select the maximum number of candles between 2 pivots, which is set to 30 candles by default. In the next section, we can determine the minimum number of candles between 2 pivots, which is set to 5 candles by default here. In the next section, we can select the number of divergences to be analyzed at each pivot, which is set to 1 by default. After identifying the divergence, a pivot moves backward and then draws the divergence line after analysis. In the next section, we can determine the maximum number of divergence line breakouts, which is set to 3 by default. The application of this section is related to when the divergence line is drawn and the histogram bars have moved upwards and broken the divergence line. The maximum number of divergence line breakouts is 3, which we can adjust to be less or more. If it exceeds this amount, the divergence will not be identified or drawn for us. In the next section, there is the shift option, which is set to 2 by default. After identifying the divergence, it moves 2 candles forward, and then examines and draws the divergence. In the next part, we can set the color of the bearish divergences and change the color of the bullish divergences to our desired color. In the last part of this section, we can also set the size of the lines to be drawn. In the following sections, there are options for setting indicators, with the first part related to the RSI indicator. The RSI indicator period, along with the type of price calculation, which includes closing price, opening price, highest price, lowest price, and other options, are located here. The next section is related to the CCI indicator, where we can set the CCI period, here along with the type of price calculation. The next section pertains to the MACD indicator, where we can set the fast-moving average period. Here, we can select the slow-moving average period. And finally, the SMA signal line period in this section, along with the type of fan price calculation. The next section contains the settings for the stochastic indicator, where we can change the K period, D period, and the slowing period in this section. The next section is the OBV indicator, where we can choose between tick volume and real volume modes for its calculations. If we have access to real volume data, we can use this option. In the next section, we have the CMF indicator, where we can select the CMF indicator period, along with the type of volume calculation, which includes 2 modes, tick volume and real volume. In this section as well, if we have access to real volume data, we can use the real volume option. In the next section, there is the TSI indicator, where we can set the first moving average calculation period, along with the second period, and finally, we can determine the type of price calculation here. For example, here I select the RSI indicator, and then click Confirm, and we can see that it has identified both negative and positive divergences for me. Here, the price has formed a lower low house, while the oscillator has formed a higher low, which identifies a positive divergence for me, and the indicator displays a buy signal and a buy trading position. Well, friends, we have reached the end of this indicator tutorial. We would be happy if you share your comments and suggestions with us in the comments section.